Just as a warning to the people who know me, I'm going to keep it brief, don't worry. Usually I don't need a mic, do I, Murray? Softball in Manitoba can be traced back more than a century. The first organized senior leagues began play in the early 1920s, and from the 30s to the 1950s, softball was one of the most popular spectator sports in the city, drawing crowds of thousands to watch the top men's and women's teams play at long-gone parks such as Wesley Park and Osborne Stadium. As the game became more popular in the larger rural centers and city leagues began to provide competition at various levels, the Manitoba Amateur Softball Association was formed. And over the years, teams such as the CUAC Blues, Molson Canadians, Winnipeg Colonels, and Smitties proved that Manitoba could compete with the best in the country. Our province also produced many outstanding players, coaches, umpires, and a strong volunteer base that helped build the game from the minor level to the senior level right across the province. The Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame was formed in 1980 to recognize the best from all sports in our province. Realizing how difficult it was to be inducted, individual sports such as baseball, curling, and hockey later became to form their own halls of fame. Around 1990, a group of softball people met informally to discuss the possibility of a softball shrine, but nothing came of it. Towards the end of the decade, June Graham, who had played and coached at the highest level in our province and worked in softball Manitoba programs, and I decided to move forward with the idea again. June had spent time on the Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee. An informal committee was formed, and the discussions that included meeting with the baseball and curling halls to learn from their experiences led to a decision to try to bring the Softball Hall of Fame to fruition. The Manitoba Softball Association agreed to provide the necessary funding to hold an initial induction ceremony. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame became an incorporated, not-for-profit organization with a board of directors. I reluctantly agreed to serve as the first president, and June became a director. The vice president was Vic Pitherney from Portage la Prairie, who had succeeded me as the Softball Manitoba president in the 70s. And I would be remiss if I didn't credit June and Vic as being primarily responsible for the Hall of Fame and museum finding a home at the Fort Lorraine Museum in Portage la Prairie. The facility was officially opened on May 25, 2002, the same day the first induction ceremony was held in Portage. The public was encouraged to submit nominations for the first induction, just as they are today. The board felt it was important that the first group be the best of the best. An independent selection committee was formed with June as a non-voting chair and Vic the only director on it. In addition to nominations from the public, the committee was instructed to consider teams and people who had been inducted into the Canadian Softball Hall of Fame and the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame, as well as honorary life members of the Manitoba Softball Association, now Softball Manitoba. The latter is the highest honor the association can bestow on for volunteer work, and only 8 individuals have received it. When I look at the first class, it's clear that the committee got it right, with both a women's and a men's Canadian Championship team, 2 Olympians and 1 Pan Am Games player, male and female stars from the early days of the sport, top coaches, and 2 quality umpires, if there are any, who also worked in the administrative side of Softball Manitoba. The class also included the first builder, Jim Adams, who served as association president for many years prior to my term, and who I credit with taking the softball organization from his kitchen tables to the boardroom. There you have a brief history of the Hall of Fame. Closing, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the directors and committee members for their hard work over the years, and of course, congratulate this year's inductees as they join those who have been honored in the past. Thank you.